على سيدنا محمد سيد الخلق أجمعين. اللهم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. اللهم ربنا زدنا علما واجعلنا من العالمين المتعلمين يا رب العالمين. اللهم ربنا ألف بين قلوبنا. اللهم ربنا ارحمنا برحمتك التي وسعت كل شيء يا ربنا. We recited last week the hadith number 172, that is, عن عدي بن حاتم حتى يتبين لكم الخيط الأبيض من الخيط الأسود. Make suhoor, keep on eating until you see the white twine, the white one from the black one. And we talked about this in details of that when he thought it was the white line and the black line. So he brought two twines, one black and one white. He put them next to each other and he kept on eating, looking at them. If he can't distinguish both, and he just kept on eating. And then he opened up the door after a while, and the sun was already up. It's like, it's like, what? So he went back to Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam, and Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam explained to him that the white line and the black line is actually in the horizon. So we talked about this in details last week, alhamdulillah. But the thing is also to mention is that you notice how the Sahabi took the hadith and he interpreted his way. Without the guidance, without the showing of the Prophet ﷺ, there is no way he would have gotten it. You wouldn't have gotten it. You wouldn't have understood what is the white line and the black line. And we can apply this rule to all the hadith. If you hear a hadith, especially if it has a little bit of something to it, you should have it interpreted by somebody, by the Prophet ﷺ, by following others, the people, scholars who know how is it done, like the Sahaba, and say, oh, they did it this way, they understood it from it this way or that way. So it would be a clarification for the hadith. We're also going to have another hadith coming up, which is probably next in a few weeks. The hadith about the rope. The hadith about rope is a famous hadith. Rasulullah ﷺ walks in the masjid one day, and he saw a rope stretched from, So he looked at it and said, what is that? He said, Zainab, al-Mu'mineen radiallahu anha, she used to put the rope to when she get tired when she's making salah, so she hold on to it while she's making salah. So Rasulullah ﷺ, he said, hullu, untie it, take it off. So there was the scholar who is interpreted, he read it differently. He says, hilwa. It's the same word, but instead of hillu, hilwa. Hilwa is beautiful, nice. So he said, beautiful. And he started talking about this hadith. It's like, oh, how beautiful, look how the beauty of this. Rasulullah ﷺ talking about the rope in the middle of the masjid. Look how easy he is, look how nice he is. And the guy said, it's hillu, it's not hilwa. Your hillu is like take it apart. It does not mean that. So sometimes when you take the hadith and we interpret it, the hadith, we should have some kind of background to it from the language, from this and that, inshallah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make it easy. But alhamdulillah, today we have much better chance for us to interpret all these hadith because all these books are there. We have so much, tafasir on these books. We can even go online. There's so many different references. Well, alhamdulillah, makes it much easier for everybody, inshallah. Now, we'll go hadith number 174 inshallah. Babu qadru kam bayna as-suhuri wa salat al-fajr. How much time between suhoor and salat al-fajr? How much time? عن أنس عن زيد بن ثابت. We know Zayd ibn Thabit radiyallahu anhu al-Ansari, the young Sahabi who collected all the Qur'an under the instructions of Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, Zayd ibn Thabit. So عن أنس عن زيد بن ثابت رضي الله عنه. So قال تسحرنا مع النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم ثم قام إلى الصلاة قلت كم كان بين الأذان والسحور؟ قال قدر 50 آية. قدر 50 آية. Anas radiallahu anh, he was listening to Zayd ibn Thabit, two Sahabin. This is unusual because usually Sahabi would tell a Tabi'i. But this time, one Sahabi listening to another Sahabi. Anas ibn Malik with Zayd ibn Thabit. He asked him, he said, We made suhoor with Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam. And then he got up to make salah. He got up and to make salah. So Anas ibn Malik asked him, he said, how much time in between? And you can imagine how are they going to decipher this? 20 minutes? 15 minutes? There's no clock. And even Rasulullah told us that he cannot even count. So he, the month for him was like that. So how are they going to do it? They said, قَدْرُ خَمْسِينَ آيَةً. For the same time of recitation of 50 ayah. 50 ayah. Look at this beautiful time zone. Time interpreted in the 50 ayah. And the intriguing thing is that, before we go into this, is that this is a unit of measurement of time. And everybody will understand. You say, 50 ayah, oh, that's about this much. MashaAllah, look at these guys were expert in the Qur'an. If you want to measure time, you say 50 ayah, oh, it's about 25 ayah, it's about 10 ayah, it's about 3 ayah, it's about, and that is a measurement of time. So you can imagine how big of a role the Qur'an was in their hearts and their minds and their daily lives, that they actually measure time by Qur'an. So the tafsir here, the tafsir is that the Arab in their own time, because obviously there's no clocks, there's no time, they used to interpret the time as the length of time you do physical activities. Like for instance, how much time you do something. You say, almost like by the time you milk a cow. Okay, that they understand, right? And they say, like, for instance here, is that how much time you do something else. It's almost the same time as you'll be able to slaughter a camel. That would be like 2-3 hours. Milking a cow maybe about 20 minutes, 25 minutes or so. So that's the way they used to measure the amount of time. It's like, how much time between this and that? Oh, like, climbing up a big mountain, or milking a cow, or slaughtering a camel. Like, you're doing this, you're doing that. So, miqdaru 50 ayah. 50 ayah by recitation. 50 ayah is what? We know in the Qur'an, there is 4 different groups. The Qur'an has been divided into 4 different groups. We say the first group is at-tiwal, the long ayat. And the next group, which is the first 7, right? Until the Araf, until the first 7. And then the next 7 is called al-ma'in. Al-ma'in, which is the hundreds, And then the ma'in, which is like what? Surah Al-Araf, a little bit longer. Isra, a little bit, like that. And this is called the ma'in. So, like for instance, Surah Maryam, like, for instance, it's almost half a juz. It has, like 80 or 90 ayah in there, right? So you can imagine by the time you sit there, you recite ayah with tadabbur, how much time does that take you to get that done? Approximately 20 to 25 minutes between the time for you to recite it, in the right way, the proper way. What does that mean for us? What does that mean? It means, number one, is that you don't make Salat al-Fajr all the way towards the end. You make suhoor, and there's a period of time in between, and then you make Salat al-Fajr. Salat al-Fajr where? In the masjid. Jama'ah, right? Suhoor where? In the house. So, you need to do 2 things, and this is sunnah. Number one is that you need to walk from your house to the masjid. Number one. Number 2 is, you should, and this is sunnah for you to make Salat Sunnat al-Fajr in your house. This is also sunnah. This is sunnah mu'akkada from Rasulullah ﷺ. He used to make Sunnat Salat al-Fajr in the house, and then he used to take off from his house, go to the masjid. So, technically we should give enough time for somebody to finish the suhoor, and then would be, the time for Fajr. So now he will make 2 rak'ah, and then he will walk to the masjid. Approximately 20 to 30 minutes between suhoor, between Salat al-Fajr, which is done jama'ah. And again, we talked all the time, we mentioned how important the 2 rak'ah before Salat al-Fajr, how important it is. As Rasulullah ﷺ says, رُكَعَتَيْنِ قَبْلَ صَلَاةِ الْفَجْرِ خَيْرٌ مِنَ الدُّنْيَا وَمَا فِيهَا. 2 rak'ah before Salat Fajr, better than the whole dunya, the whole earthly life, and what's in it? better than the whole earth. And what's in it? All the gold and all the jewelry and all the rubies and all the Bentleys and all the homes. 2 rak'ah is better than all, you know. So, and that is the sunnah from Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam. Now, the next hadith inshallah. عن عبد الله عن عبد الله بن عمر رضي الله عنهما, the both, أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم واصل فواصل الناس فشق عليهم فنهاهم قالوا إنك تواصل قال لست كهيئتكم إني أظل وأطعم وأسقى. Rasulullah عليه الصلاة والسلام, he did wasul, wasal. Wasal is to join one day's siyam with the second day. He did not make iftar in between. So people did what he did. You know, can you imagine, just like you make siyam 2 days in a row with no iftar. So he joined 2 days. So people did like what he did. So, and then what happened is that فَشَقَّ عَلَيْهِمْ, it was very difficult on them. SubhanAllah, we can barely make it one day. فَشَقَّ عَلَيْهِمْ, it's hard. فَنَهَاهُمْ, he said, don't do it. They said, Ya Rasulullah, but you know, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, you doing it, you do that. He told him, he says, I'm not like you. I have shade above me. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give me shade and you don't. And I get, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala yasqini, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give me a drink. You know, وَأُطْعَمْ, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives me food. So Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam is a special case where he was able to join the one day after the one day after the one day of making siyam. That is not possible for a normal person to do. And even if somebody's doing it, maybe possibly stretch maybe 2 days, but it would be very hard, very difficult. Rasulullah alayhi wasallam specifically says, Nahahum, he said, don't do it. Nahi Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam, it means what? Forbidden. Forbidden. When he says don't, it means don't. That's it. Like for instance, the siyam, you could make siyam any time of the year, right? Except 2 days, the Eid days. Why? Rasulullah alayhi wasallam said, do not make siyam in these 2 days. The rest of the year, you can make siyam anytime you want with the conditions. Like for instance, you don't make siyam the Saturday alone. You need to make siyam Saturday because that's not our Sabbath, right? You make Saturday, you join it with the day after or the day before. You don't make Salatul Jum'ah. The Jum'ah, you don't make siyam and Jum'ah alone. You make Jum'ah and the day before or the day after. You know, there's conditions, right? But you can make siyam any day of the year except Al-Eidain, except with the Eid day. That is manhiyun an. We don't do it. Why? Because Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam says, don't. That's it, done. It's written for us, inshallah. So, the ibrah here from this hadith is that not only the speciality what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam, the abilities and the things that he has given, that's not given to anybody else. Number one. But more importantly is that for us is that we should not, or we're not allowed, or we are forbidden from making siyam, joining siyam 2 days in a row. Because Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam told us not to. Some of the brothers, mashallah, they want to do extra work, and they say, let's join him. That's even more effort, more reward. No. If you do that, you are actually disobeying Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam, and would be most likely there's a punishment for it. There is not a reward, definitely there is no reward in it. It will be a punishment from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for you to disobey the orders of Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam. عن أنس بن مالك رضي الله عنه قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم تسحروا فإن السحور بركة. تسحروا, make suhoor, eat suhoor. In the suhoor there is barakah. Barakah. What is barakah? Barakah. I think the blessing. Is what?
Extend the blessing or extend the reward. Or
right. Barakah means that anything that you have, if it has barakah in it, it has extra amount of greatness or goodness in it than normal. And originally the word came in from the word baraka al-ba'ir. When the camel sits, how does he sit? you find his belly, kind of, he's got a huge big belly. So when he gets up, you got like a little bit of curvature in the ground, in the sand, right? And that was not there because of that barakah where the ba'ir was sitting, where that camel was sitting. So when the water comes in, it rains, you find there what happens? You find burka which is a pond of water. So the earth will collect water, but this area where that extra pressure happened, what happens? Collects extra water. So you go to the place, especially as a big camel, you find big, huge place, you go, there's extra water in that area if you pour on it. And from the same word, burka is a pond. Burka is a pond. That's the same source. So, barakah is an extra amount of ni'mah or goodness or khair that is usually not there. That's what the barakah is. And we say barakah in what? Barakah in food. How? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, puts the barakah, the extra goodness, the extra khair in the food, that the food of two will be enough for three. How? Normally two people will eat, one amount of food. But then if there's a third person, will eat and everybody is satisfied and full. It's like, how? This is barakah. There's extra greatness in it. We have also barakah in money. Some months, like some people who are especially employed, who makes, let's say, $5,000 a month, let's say, And some months, subhanAllah, you pay all your bills, and you're right there. You spend the 5,000 like nothing left. And some other months, the same bills, the same thing, what happens? You end up paying all the bills and you get an additional $1,000 sitting aside. That is barakah. That is extra goodness Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give you with your money. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala telling us about the suhoor. The suhoor is not just an average meal. It's not just an average meal. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala designated it to be barakah. It is the substitute, replacement for breakfast and lunch or you could say brunch in between, or all the snacks in between. You eat that meal before Fajr, will outlast you all the way until the Maghrib. And that's why Rasulullah ﷺ, he told us, he says, tasahharu is an order. Make suhoor. Don't think you're a hero, you're oh, no problem, I'm just, gonna get up on Fajr and just head over to, the masjid, make my salah and I'm done. No, Rasulullah ﷺ, make suhoor, eat. And that is suhoor, it has extra barakah in it, inshallah. Now, عن عبد الرحمن بن حارث ابن الحارث ابن هشام أن حضرة عائشة رضي الله عنها وحضرة سلمة رضي الله عنها أخبرتاه, two of the المؤمنين, two of the wives of Rasulullah ﷺ, they told Abd al-Rahman ibn Harith ibn Hisham, and this is under the heading of Babu Sa'imu, as-Sa'im, somebody who makes siyam and he is junub. He's junub, he does not have tahara. He does not have tahara. That's a big question. Can you start your siyam and you are not in ghusl, or ghusl is a condition for siyam? That's a very big question, right? And what happens here, So Rasulullah, let's read the hadith. Two of the wives of Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam, Hadrat Aisha wa Hadrat Salama, al-Mu'mineen radiyallahu anhuma, أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم كان يدركه الفجر وهو جنب من أهله ثم يغتسل ويصوم. Rasulullah عليه الصلاة والسلام, he used to reach the point of Fajr and he's still junub, he still does not have ghusl, he still have najasa, kubra, right? So he will reach the point of starting the salah, starting the siyam. So he would start the siyam and then he will make ghusl while he is fasting, he's making siyam. And that is a great, ease in our deen. Can you imagine if you have to be in a state of tahur before you start the siyam? That will create a lot of difficulty, a lot of hardship for us. Because what do we need to do? We need to make sure right before that time, it is 5-10 minutes, whatever it is, we need to make ghusl, and we got to look at the clock. And then the other problem too is going to conflict between suhoor and ghusl. Which one is more important? You say, well, I'm going to eat or I'm going to take a bath. Which one, more important? So, Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam with his action showed us that it is permissible that for us to start the siyam and we are in the state of janaba. And then once we start the siyam, it's okay for us to make the ghusl afterwards immediately, and we continue on with our siyam, inshallah. Inshallah. So, any questions or comments, inshallah? Go ahead, inshallah.
But you have to have ghusl before Fajr namaz though.
That's for sure.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
But the point is, in my mind,
Mm-hmm.
if you have no time, this condition, if you have no time, there is sahur
Uh-huh.
and ghusl.
Right.
Then you get the sahur.
Yes.
If you have a time, then make a ghusl, then you eat.
That makes sense. If you want to say that suhoor, as Rasulullah ﷺ orders, it says, "Tasahharu," make suhoor. In the suhoor, there's barakah. So the secondary, more important, is that for you to make suhoor. But if you have time, it's definitely you make ghusl, you make suhoor, and then you start with siyam, and you're in a shape. Again, if you start your siyam and you're in janaba, that is not going to affect your siyam, because siyam would be accepted, inshallah, regardless. But it's always, watch, Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam, and you got to remember this, the malaika, the angels, do not go in a house where, what? There is somebody who has janaba, does not go inside a house if somebody who is not on a state of ghusl. The minute that somebody loses his tahara, loses his tuhur, the malaika will run out of the door. And they don't come back inside until somebody make ghusl, until you're in a state of tahara.
What about those two?
These two, they're always with you, but these are different. This is as we say, some scholars, they described it as, there is malaika who are mandatory, and one of them is nafil, is an extra. Mandatory, they will be there with you no matter what happens. These are obligation. These are farad, they're with you no matter what. They will go with you in the bathroom, they'll go with you here, because they're there, that's it, that's their job. But the extra ones, which is they give you the barakah, they give Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends them to your house, they'll run away in 3 conditions. What are they? One of them, if somebody is in state of janaba. The other one is, if there's a statue in the house. If there's a statue or a picture of the house, they run away from it. They don't like it, they run away. The third one is, if there is a dog in the house. A dog in the house will make them run, because they don't, the angels, by the way, the angels are very soft creatures. They get agitated and they're not happy with, like sometimes with the smell. They like good smell, and they'll run away from bad smell. Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam disliked this, actually did not eat garlic or onion, just because of that. Because Jibreel used to come to him often, and you never know what time he's going to come. It's not like, he could be any time, any place. So, and Jibreel, if he's standing there, and the great angel, he dislikes the ugly smell. And onion and garlic, even though it's halal, the Rasulullah never forbidden him. He said, do not, you cannot, it's not forbidden, our deen, you can eat them. But he said, when you come to the masjid, what do? He said, it's still not forbidden, but he says, amitahu tabkhan, kill it by cooking. Kill the onion and the garlic by what? By cooking it or overcooking it. So when you eat it, especially before you come to the masjid, especially with Salat al-Jum'ah, when you come to the Salah here, maybe 5-10 minutes or whatever it is, but can you imagine you sit next to somebody who is sitting in Salat al-Jum'ah for half an hour, 45 minutes, and the brother smells onion or smells garlic, or he had an armpit smell, or feet or sock smell, la ilaha illallah, or this is really a crime you'll be committing against not only yourself, against the brother sitting next to you. So Rasulullah, although he forbidden eating the garlic and the onion, but he told us that for us to eat it, it's okay to eat, but kill it with what? By cooking it or overcooking it until it takes out all the smell. Now, Going back to the janaba. Technically, anytime we go in a state of janaba, we should get out of it, go to tahara as soon as possible. As soon as possible, as quickly as we can. And that is the sunnah from Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam, so we can continue on with our normal lives, doing regular salah, and have the angels come back inside the house, and all these different things, inshallah. I'm sorry, you had the...
No, you answered the question.
Oh, barakallah feek.
One quick question.
Sure.
What you said about the pictures. It's pictures of what? Anything? Or what about animals and, of course, not human beings and animals? I mean,
Right.
What about like landscape and stuff?
Right. Landscape and anything, live creatures, human or any kind of, live creatures, let's say horses, dogs, ducks, or whatever. What makes them a picture, what makes them not permissible is the head. So if you have the body of, let's say, of a duck, but you don't have a head to it, that's fine. That you're allowed. Or you have, for instance, some people who make an abstract picture of a shape of a man, or a painting of some sort, of a man with no head, with no details of the head, that's fine. But if you have a picture or a painting of a person, or a horse, a bear, or a lion, or whatever, the angels do not walk inside the house. They don't like that, they don't come inside. And more so for the tamathil, is the statues and sculptures. They don't like it, they walk away, because that is for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who makes these pictures and make the creatures the way we see them today. And this is, some of the scholars said, they bring this back all the way to the days of Nuh alayhi salam. The Nuh alayhi salam and his people, what they used to do is that they used to make sculptures of their ancestors. And eventually the shaitan dissuaded them, went off the path by them worshipping these statues. The shaitan originally, what they used to do is that their ancestors, of course out of respect, they used to respect them so much, when they used to bury them, they used to go visit their graves, and eventually they made sculptures in reference to their ancestors. They used to put them in the house, and a few generations went by that they used to worship it. They used to ask for barakah from this, from these sculptures, and eventually turned into a complete worship. And there's a reference to this in Surah Nuh. وَقَالُوا لَا تَذَرُوا آلِهَتَكُمْ وَلَا تَذَرُوا وَدًّا وَلَا سُوَاعًا وَلَا يَغُوثَ وَيَعُوقَ وَنَسْرًا. 5 names for 5 different statues. وَدًّا, يَغُوث, وَسُوَاع, وَيَغُوث, وَنَسْرًا. These 5 by the name, they're the ones who used to worship. Eventually led to that point. And the Arab in the Arabian Peninsula and Mecca, they were monotheists. They always worshipped Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala until the days of Amr ibn Lahi. Amr ibn Lahi, what he did is that he was a very respected man, very likable man. And all the tribes liked him, they followed him, he got the lineage, he was generous, he was very easygoing. One time he went up north to Bilad Sham, and he saw them worshipping statue, and they're making fire, and they're going around the fire and worshipping statues. So he looked at it and said, that looks like a very good thing to do. So he went back to Mecca, and he took out the same statues. He asked, what happened to the statues of the days of Nuh alayhi salam? They said one in Jeddah at the time, and there's one in Ta'if, one here, one there. So he went to these spots and he took them out again. So he left one in Ta'if, he took 2 to Mecca, and he did, And Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam talks about him, talks about Amr ibn Luhay, is that he's walking in the hellfire dragging his intestines behind him. After the punishment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to punish him for what he has done. So as to prohibit this from happening, we are forbidden from the Islamic Ummah, is that for us not to keep any pictures of creatures, like I said, any animals, the heads of the animals, and human beings of any sort, whatever it is. We are forbidden from keeping their pictures on the walls. We should not hang them. And statues of any statues, again, if they're including the head. With no heads, it's fine. If you got an abstract, arms or hands, that's fine, inshallah. But if you have the head specifically of statue, the angels do not walk inside the house. That is the way of shaitan. No.
How about the family member pictures?
That is the same thing, Akhi. That actually, sometimes that is more dangerous. Yeah, because we get to mix two things together: respect, to somebody, and we have the reminiscing of the old times, and we mix this sometimes with act of worship. See, for you, it's clear. He's my great grandfather. He's this. But your son does not see it this way. The young boy, he looks at you how you look at your son, your father. You say, "Look, at my father did this. Look, at my father did that." Your son will look at it. It's like, "Oh, this is a little bit more than respect," a little bit more that is somebody to be asked for something, somebody to be respected beyond he's just an ancestor. So it is very dangerous, is that for us to do this, and it's better off for us to take it out and just don't have any pictures in the hanging.
Taking pictures.
That and this
Or video.
right.
Or video. Or
Right.
comparing that with the video, like
Ex-
for memories when you go
Exactly.
somewhere with the family.
That is a very big subject. Some scholars said that the videos is actually, it is a form of taking pictures also as well. The difference is that by the time you sit there and you take the, you click and this, versus for you to take a paintbrush and do it, it's like you do one action here, you take another action here. Some other scholars said no, that's something entirely different, because the picture you are taking, it's actually the picture of the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself. So you're not making up anything, versus the painting that you do, you created that painting, So they differed on this here and there. The best, wallah subhanahu wa ta'ala alam, is that in our deen, if there's a use for it, if there's a benefit in it, we could use it, of course. Like people say today, like a picture in your ID and in your driver's license. Well, that's a must. I mean, can you imagine there's 8 billion people on the face of this earth, and the 1.9, 1.7, whatever it is, billion Muslims say, no, we don't take pictures. How are we going to tell which one is which? I mean, passports, and how can you do this, right? IDs, cannot be. Also the same thing, when you take videos, it's educational. You could benefit from it. And this is the way of communicating. So wallahu alam, it does have, good and bad in both directions.
Yeah. What I read about it, and all the scholars talking about it, what they say, if the picture sticks on a piece of paper, then that is prohibited. But the video does not stick on a piece of paper, so that is okay.
That's
Document it,
That's
they
the
can see it and you can respect it more.
right.
Yeah, but that's what their explanation is. If it sticks on a paper, then it's prohibited.
Just
Like
like
now,
a CD,
Mm-hmm.
Quran.
Right.
In Janabut, you cannot touch the Quran.
Right.
But if that is in the CD, we can pick the CD and
Right. Right.
it was not sticking.
Right. They again, I mean, but again, like there is a picture frame out there that you buy, the picture frame today, that you put an SD card in there, and will display the picture and will change the picture every 5 minutes. You've seen those, I'm sure. So it's actually, the picture is not there. It is an electronic format that changes in the frame itself. I think we're stepping into a big field of doing things. Allahu alam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows that if we feel, He broke down the action of making the picture, He broke it down like almost like 28 different steps. The camera, put the film, push the button, take the, focus, take it, take the film, take it down to the lab, and then you print the picture. He broke it down into 28 different steps. And He broke down the steps of making it or drawing it, there's less than that. So technically the guy, according to the way he was thinking, that making pictures actually, taking a picture is more work than it is for you to draw it up by hand. You see? So he kind of said that, no, definitely take pictures is forbidden. But today, obviously, things are different. We get different, Allahu alam, today, not too many scholars, they still talk about being forbidden in that sense. However, it's really important for in our homes to keep the pictures away from the walls. And to keep definitely no statues on the walls, on the shelves. Stay away from that. That would keep us safe, inshallah, in a better shape, inshallah.
One question,
Sure.
keep on bothering you.
No problem, no problem.
Sometimes kids have, not statues, but like animals or like,
Right, like a play dolls and stuff like that, right.
Probably.
That is halal. Rasulullah, as a matter of fact, right, as a matter of fact, Aisha Ummul Mu'minin radiallahu anha, she had a doll she used to play with, And it's, that's part of the, she had a doll before her, she was playing with it, and made out of cotton. That's the days they used to make them. And that's halal in our time, that's fine, it's not a big deal. That's not the problem, inshallah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So keep going, inshallah. The hadith, Babu al-Qiblati lis-Sa'im. The kissing for somebody who is making siyam. Okay. The hadith is عن عائشة رضي الله عنها أم المؤمنين. حضرت عائشة أم المؤمنين رضي الله عنها إن كان رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم ليقبل بعض أزواجه وهو صائم. Rasulullah عليه الصلاة والسلام used to kiss some of his, this is the hadith, this is what she said. Rasulullah عليه الصلاة والسلام used to kiss some of his wives. And she laughed. فضحكت. She laughed. What does that mean? It means that it's her. Basically, that's what the interpretation is, obviously. So, and that is an issue here, that we're stepping into an issue here of the, kissing for the Sa'im. Wallahu a'lam, that the fatwa for most of the scholars, that if somebody who is in danger for him to go beyond the kiss, don't do it. And Aisha in the other hadith, she mentions something. She says, "Man yamliku irabahu ka Rasulillah sallallahu alaihi." Who can control himself like Rasulullah? Nobody could do that like he did. You see? So, if a young person who got married recently or something like that, and he would hug his wife, he'll end up a kiss, and the kiss leads up to something else, will break his salah or break his siyam, that is forbidden. You should not be doing it. But if you can control yourself, or you've been married to your wife for way too long,
Very difficult.
would be,
Way too long, you're never gonna do that.
if you're married too long, you're not going to do it, right? Subhanallah, it should be the opposite. You should go out of your way to do it then. But anyway, so alhamdulillah, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes it. So, but generally speaking, this is what it is. Now, فَلَا رَفَثَ وَلَا فُسُوقٍ. Where? In Hajj. In Hajj, no. No kissing, no hugging, no touching, none of this. Even though you could, you make Hajj, you go with your wife in the same hotel room, whatever, you should not even be looking at her. You should not even, think about her in that sense. There's no rafath, nothing.
Between the days of the Hajj.
The days of the Hajj, exactly. Between the days of the Hajj itself. Now, in Ramadan, no fusuq, but rafath is allowed in up to a certain degree. Fusuq is that for you to, no yelling, no screaming, no cussing, no. But again, subhanAllah, that's technically supposed to be 365 days a year or 354 days a year, right? I mean, a Muslim should not be yelling, screaming, using foul language, period. But in the siyam is more so. It's more so because you need to be careful. You need to protect your siyam. You need to protect your siyam from anger. You're getting angry, you ruin, you give away from the rewards that you're doing. And some of the brothers, in the middle of the Ramadan, in the middle of Laylatul Qadr, La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah, they cuss and curse and they say things, and we feel sorry for them that they are wasting their own rewards. They are wasting it. Technically, there's nothing wasted. The person they cussed at, he took all the rewards. Nothing is wasted. لا يعزب عنه مثقال ذرة في السماوات ولا في الأرض. Nothing will go to waste. So any good deed the person did by cussing, cursing, harming, hitting, shoving, doing whatever that he does, or belligerent or bad language he did, you've given away your good deeds. The good deeds are done, you just gave it away. But the rafath here is that somebody who kiss his wife or hold her hand or hug or something like that, that is allowed as long as there's 100% no chance for him to lose control will lead into ruining his siyam. Wallah subhanahu wa ta'ala a'lam.
Sheikh, one real quick
No,
question. I know
sure.
we are almost
Sure.
You were talking about the Janaba Kubra.
Right.
So you're saying if you have, we're all brothers here and there's no shame in
Mm-hmm.
lying. So if you have relation with your wife at night, so you are saying it's better, it's sunnah that you get up and
Correct.
you do ghusl.
You do ghusl right away. Correct.
Yeah, your wife gets up, does ghusl, and then you
Exactly.
go to sleep and then do whatever.
Exactly. Now, but there's mention in some of the hadith that Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam used to spend time with his wives after he makes salat tahajjud. And there's hadith on this. In the hadith describes, by the way, describes in Arabic, there's two different terms for the bed. There's a bed that is a husband-wife bed, and there's a bed that is for sleeping bed. The sleeping bed is called surur or sarir. The other one is called firash or furush, plural. Where do we have this? We have this one in Surat Al-Waqi'ah. وَفُرُشٍ مَرْفُوعَةٍ. Furush. There's hadith, and a lot of people get confused about it, is that Rasulullah ﷺ used to make salah, and they used to go to his firash. And then when he hears the adhan, he used to jump out of bed. When he hears the adhan fajr, he used to jump out of bed. So there's a period of time where he spent some time with his wife, and that is on firash. That's not sarir. Sarir, surur. Ala sururim mawduna. Surur. It is a place that you lay down to relax. And there's another bed that you lay down with, somebody with his wife. And that is firash. As a matter of fact, there is the furush. We have in Arabic, some people used to use that word to say, did you replace your firash? Is that, did you divorce your wife and ended up with somebody else? That you married somebody else? You say, you replaced your firash. That is the meaning of it. Wallahu alam. So, going back to it, Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam, if he gets into the state of janaba, he would make ghusl right away. As a matter of fact, going into the subject, you know what else he used to do too? And that is sunnah from him. He used to go to yubawil, to urinate. After, he used to urinate, he goes to the khala, after he spent time with his wives. And that is the healthiest thing you could do. It's very healthy. And this is recommended today, is that for somebody when he spent time with his wife, is that for him to go to the bathroom and then bathe afterwards, immediately. And Rasulullah ﷺ did it. He used to do it, and that was sunnah from him in his days. Wallahu alam. It clears the urethra. It cleanses, subhanallah, is the ways of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, inshallah.
I also read that if you have no urine to pass,
right,
then you make 40 steps.
Ah, subhanallah. Okay.
Yes.
Right,
So you may clean it.
to clean. Oh, okay.
So after ghusl, the
Okay.
dirty water may not come.
Subhanallah. I heard about this. Some of the scholars are talking about this. And some of them, they describe different things. They say that when you approach your, and la haya fi din, when you touch your private parts with water, it actually brings up the urine. Some of the scholars said that as well, is that when you do that, it just, kind of brings it. So, some of them said you take 40 steps, you do whatever. But subhanAllah, do you notice that in the days of Rasulullah ﷺ, for somebody to go to the bathroom, you got to take 40 steps anyway, possibly more.
If you cannot pass the urine,
if you cannot pass or you don't have any, right?
then it is okay.
Right. But then obviously, maybe make a habit of it for you to drink extra water before, or,
And secondly, when you go to take the ghusl,
Right.
not put your hand in the water.
Oh, definitely.
First you clean your hand,
That's true.
and
That's
then
true.
with the lota, you put the water.
That's true, mashallah. Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam told us in the hadith, he says, you don't take your hand after you get up and you put it in the water like this. He said flat out, he told us, فَلَا تَعْلَمُ أَيْنَ كَانَتْ يَدَكَ. You don't know where your hand been. Literally, when somebody's sleeping, you don't know where his hand been. I have no idea. Somebody's sleeping, just totally, absent to the fact that where his hand anywhere could be at that point. So you don't take your hand, you stick it in the water that you're going to bathe in. You take the water, You pour it on your hand, you wash, and then you could just start the ghusl. And I think we talked about the ghusl, the procedure of the ghusl. The ghusl basically, you started with the same like wudu, except the feet, right? You do everything, but you don't do the feet, right? So technically, the very first thing you do, what do? You wash your hands first 3 times. So I mean, the procedure there,
Make a wuzu first,
you make wudu first,
then
right?
And what I do is, first you put the water on the right side,
Correct.
then on the left side.
That is correct. That is correct. You do the right, and then you do the left, and you go the rest of the shower.
You stand in the shower,
Hmm.
and you can do the wuzu shower. You can do the wuzu.
Of course,
right?
of
And
course.
then you
Right, and then you do you do your right side first, and then you do left. The thing is about in the hadith, he used to do everything except the feet. Some scholars said, well, he did not do the feet. Why? Because it was muddy. There's no floors. There's nothing. So you got to do the feet too. Some other scholars said, why? If it is important, Rasulullah ﷺ would have done it. Mud or no mud, dirt or no dirt, he would have done it. Why do you want to add things? Because, well, because of this, he did not. If it's something important, something really essential part of our deen, our beloved Prophet would have told us. He would have told us. There's no way that he would have missed something. If he missed something, it means he did not do the job. And we know he did the job. He disobeyed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And he disobeyed he did not deliver the amana. The amana is the job that he was supposed to do, the message, right? Watch. In the wudu, like, for example, all the wudu, Rasulullah ﷺ hardly ever used to get angry, But one time he was very angry, he was very agitated, and he stood in front of the Sahaba, they're making wudu, specifically wudu. What did he say? He says, وَيْلٌ لِلْأَعْقَابِ مِنَ النَّارِ. Wail, we know. Oh, to the aqab. Aqab is the last portion right here of the foot from the hellfire. Why? The Sahaba, they was sometimes, and we do this all the time. We make ghusl, we make wudu. We don't really go all the way to the ankle, to the upper side of the ankle, to make sure that that part is covered or is being washed properly. So we cannot take a shortcut. Rasulullah get very angry. He says, watch out, be careful. That is where the hellfire is going to hit you. That is, وَيْلٌ لِلْأَعْقَابِ مِنْ النَّارِ. And he repeated it a few times and he was angry. He says, وَيْلٌ لِلْأَعْقَابِ مِنْ النَّارِ, for us to remember. We don't have a single hadith says, وَيْلٌ لِلْأَكْوَاعِ مِنَ النَّارِ. He didn't say anything about the ku'a, about the elbow. Right? He didn't say, وَيْلٌ لِلْمَوْضِ, for the teeth from the nar. He didn't say that. What is important, he told us, that is the one to worry about. That is the one that will bring you the hellfire, which is the ankles, the upper side of the ankle, because that is the one that he was told, he was informed, people will be punished by not doing it completely. If you do your elbow not 100% down here, a little bit there, there's rukhsa. If some of the brothers who wash their faces, you're supposed to wash here. That a lot of brothers, they do this, they don't go in the back, like the ear like that. And that is also that you're supposed to do that. That's part of the face, But again, there's no specific warning about this. The warning came on the ankles. That is the warning. We got to follow the warnings. We got to follow the exact instructions.
Some scholars say because the roof starts from here, from the ankle, then they go to the mouth. So
And some people, some people said that. Actually, Allahu Alam where that come from. Some of them say when you make Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, Assalamu alaikum, you reach over, you touch that your toe, because that is where the soul is going to go. I don't have a proof of this. We don't have it. But there's another meaning for this. How is the Muslim appears in the Day of Judgment? سِيمَاهُمْ فِي وُجُوهِهِمْ. They have specific description. غُرٌّ حُجُلٌ. Their foreheads here is white. Why? Wudu. What do we do? We wudu with our hair, right? It's all white. And what about our feet? Hujul. The hujul is that you find the horse is all like, whatever color. You find her white and you find his feet white. clean. Can you imagine some Muslim out there walking in with half clean foot? The front part is white, the other back part is still dark, still dirty. Maybe Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will punish him because he did not fit the description of a good Muslim. Maybe that's why Rasulullah specifically saying that when you're going to go out there, you need to look different. You need to really fit that description. Complete white here and complete white there on your feet. Otherwise, you might get mixed up with the rest. Maybe that's why it is so important. That's why Rasulullah says, وَيْلٌ لِلْأَعْقَابِ مِنَ النَّارِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We only saying these things, like you said, could be that way. The soul would go from here, some people said from here, or because of this description. The bottom line is that we should pay extra attention for washing our feet when we make wudu, inshallah.
Ghusl, it's also you can stand in standing water. You cannot have, when you're doing ghusl,
Right.
the used up water, your feet should be, is there any truth to that?
You should not be standing. Well, some scholars said depends on the quantity of water. If it's bigger, and they actually there's a certain size of that what is considered to be standing water or cannot be standing water. It depends on the size of the tub, depends on the size you're in. But generally speaking, the ghusl, how, and we do this in the Middle East, I'm not sure about, back in the days, before the days of the shower. You used to have a big, pot like this, right? And most of the time, obviously, was made out of like marble or something, or rock or something. And they used to put a little bit of cold water, a little bit of hot water to make it perfect. And then you used to take a pot of some sort, and you had mithl tase or whatever, and then you pour from it. That is the sunnah. That is the way to make ghusl. So standing in the water, that what happens? You, like a little bit of water, right? And you take from it, you pour on yourself. You take from it, you pour on yourself. And just, being recycled again. Some of the scholars said that's not a good way to make ghusl.
Because I was talking about when you are in a shower and the water is coming from top.
Okay. And the water is standing there.
You cannot be in standing, your feet should not be in standing water. I
Mm.
don't know if there is any.
I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure, because ultimately what's going to happen at the end is that once you make the ghusl completely, the water will flush away, That's an interesting question.
I'll try to dig it up.
Yeah, inshallah. Inshallah. Jazakumullah khair.
The point which I was saying,
Sure.
about the ruh,
Uh-huh.
they said when the ruh comes out,
Right.
it starts from the feet,
Okay.
so go from the mouth.
Go from the, okay.
Not from the feet.
It does not go from the feet. Right. Allah knows. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows
So it
that
is
they say.
practically we see.
But we know in Surah Al-Waqi'ah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says specifically, He says, فَإِذَا بَلَغَتِ الْحُلْقُومِ, when it reaches the hulqum. Hulqum is here. And then the other hadith where it says, Rasulullah says, إِلَّا إِذَا غَرْغَرْ. You know gharghar, right? What is gharghar? Right. Okay, when you take water, you go, you blow there. Gharghar is, subhanAllah, you find the water sitting there. When you blow the air, the water wants to come down and you're pushing it out. It's like, it's like this. So it's resemblance to the soul. The soul wants to stay in the body, and the angel's sitting there trying to get it out. So there's this, tug of war going on between, this one wants to take it out, and the other one wants to stay in. And that is the point. Gharghar is that the point is that it is too late. You cannot make tawbah, you cannot say anything because it's too late. At that point, somebody will see the angels. That's it. The angel is sitting right on top of him. He's taking his soul out. And now you say, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. Too late. Too late to do that. So the two references, the gharghar, وَإِذَا بَلْغَتِ الْحُلْقُومِ, if it reaches here, their indication is that this is the final, it leaves from the mouth, it leaves from that direction. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alam. No. So inshallah we have 10 minutes, inshallah. We stop here. And then the next hadith would be Babu إِذَا أَكَلَ أَوْ شَرِبَ نَاسِيًا. The book of that if he ate or drank and he is forgetting. He forgot and he ate or he drank while he's making siyam. We'll talk about this inshallah.